to day 16 of the 31-day mobility challenge. Today's session focuses on our neck and our upper back. So we're going to go ahead and start with the peanut. So this is 2 tennis balls. I tape these ones together, or you could put them in a sock with something to tie them together. Or if you would like, if you've only got 1 tennis ball, you could do both sides separately. This just allows us to do both sides at the same time. So I'm going to come over to the wall, and I'm going to put the peanut starting here, kind of just at the top of the shoulders. We're going to do 3 positions. Then we'll move it a little bit further down, and then the final position will be around the mid-back area. So 3 positions, and the space in between the peanut, that's where your spine will go. So you want your tennis balls on either side of the spine, so the muscles either side of your spine. So let's go ahead and start in that first position. And you really have to lean back into the wall, otherwise you're going to lose your tennis balls. So just adjust, and then you'll just do little knee bends to allow you to press back and search for spots up by that top part of the shoulders. You can, if you find a spot, you could press back into the wall. And we'll do 3 different arm positions. You could do any of them in any of the 3 positions. I'll just show you some different options. So let's, for this first position, start with an arms overhead. So you want to think about breathing out, pressing back into the wall, into the balls, and reaching those arms up overhead. And you'll just go as far up as you can keep your ribs down. If you start to arch your back, then you've gone too far. So it doesn't really matter how high you'll go, you just go as high as feels comfortable for you. We're just warming up. Then we're going to go ahead and let the ball come down a little bit lower. And then we'll go again searching for any tight spots by giving ourselves a little knee bend. Pressing back into the balls. Breathing. So for this one, we're going to hold back and we'll do some snow angels. So we'll take our arms by our sides, thumbs up, and we'll see how it feels to reach with the arms. So thinking about your breath, thinking about that 5 out of 10. Keep pressing back into the ball to modify the intensity or release the tension. So whatever you need to do to get at that 5 out of 10. And then let's move the ball down to a little bit lower, on mid-back. And let's go up and down here. Let's see how that feels. So again, the tennis balls are on the muscles either side of the spine. You'll press back. We're getting some sneaky squats in at the same time. Okay, and then when you found a position that you want to work on, you'll press back into the balls, and this time we're going to hug ourselves by our shoulders. You could wiggle side to side. You could come up and down with that shoulder hug. We'll make it more intense, so watch that intensity. Or you can go into arms open and hug. So you could do any of these arms actions in any of the different positions. You could go diagonal with the arms. So again, I really encourage you to play around with the different arm positions and see which one you feel like, oh yeah, that feels good for me today. And it might be different on different days. Okay, so from there, we're going to swap the peanut out for a single tennis ball. And we're going to roll the front of the shoulder here. So you'll put the ball between the front of your shoulder and the wall. And again, I would put your other hand on the wall to support you, and you'll just search around at the front of the shoulder. Maybe you'll go side to side, maybe you'll do little circles, breathing, moving it down a little bit. So you're staying at the top of the arm, just under the shoulder, and slightly leaning in, so you're coming to the front a little bit. We're trying to get that front of the shoulder. From there, you could do a little arm action. So a little pendulum swing, breathing. So turning the hand as you swing. And then you could take your arm straight out to the side again, put the ball in between the wall and your shoulder. And my other hand is helping me go side to side. And make sure you're breathing. And we're looking for that 5 out of 10. Okay, so let's change sides. So we'll put the ball with the arm down first, in between your shoulder and the wall, and you'll see if there's any difference between sides. So I'm using my other hand to support me. You can look away from the ball and twist a little bit more forward. And then you can add those pendulum swings, so arm swings underneath you. You're turning the hand with the swing, seeing what that feels like. Good. And then you could go into that arm out to the side, ball between the shoulder and the wall, and then from there, coming side to side with that scrubbing motion, using the supporting hand to guide you, and making sure that you're breathing. So again, we've got to keep leaning into the wall or we're going to drop our tennis balls. You've got to get that right amount of pressure. Okay, so from there, we'll release down. So we're actually going to do the rest of the session in seated. So you want to find a seat that you can comfortably sit with your feet planted on the floor. So if you need to put something underneath your feet to raise yourself up, then do that. So we're not kind of here. When we're here, even if you're sitting at your desk at work and your feet don't touch the floor, you're permanently engaging through those hip flexors. So you want to be able to have the legs in a nice, relaxed position. So from there, we're going to start some neck stretches. So we're going to turn our head we're going to drop our head to the side. And then whatever side our head is dropped to, I'm going to hold down. Let's start that again. So I'm going to grab a hold of my head, I'm going to drop it to the side, and then the opposite arm, I'm going to press down the box. So I'm tilting my head to the side, so I'm applying pressure with this top hand, moving it down, and I'm also applying pressure with my straight arm. I'm pressing down. You could grab the side of your chair and you can breathe. You can adjust kind of the angle of your head a little bit to see if there's tighter areas than others. You'll be breathing, you'll be sitting tall, and you'll be at 5 out of 10. Okay, so let's change sides. So take the head across, grabbing down with the other hand. So I'm actively pressing down with my supporting arm, and then I'm tipping across with my other side. And then again, you can just change your head position just gently and see, are you in the spot that needs the most love? Breathe, breathe, breathe. Pressing that hand down and then release. So from stretching the traps, we're going to stretch our Levator Scapulae. So you're going to take your head down towards your armpit. You're going to take a hold of the back of the head and you're going to press down the head in towards the armpit. With the supporting hand, you can either pull down the side of the chair or you could take it behind your back. Again, trying to keep sitting up nice and tall, ribs down, and breathing. Again, you can play around slightly with the head position, making sure that you're having nice, relaxed breaths. And coming up, and we'll change sides. So taking a hold of the back of the head, applying pressure down to look down into the armpit on the opposite side, either reaching down the chair on this opposite arm, or the hand can go behind your back. And you're breathing. Making little micro adjustments to see how it feels. Am I in the right place, what I need to be in for today? Really pressing down with this opposite side. And then coming up, and let's just do a few shoulder rolls. Okay, so from there we have a stretch for our deep neck flexors. So you're going to take your hand just underneath your clavicle and press down with your hand, and then put your other hand on top and press that hand down. And then you're going to look up and diagonal, lifting that chin up and feeling the stretch here through the front of the neck. So again, I'm pressing down with these hands and taking my head in the opposite direction. It's hard to talk in this position. And breathe. So playing around micro adjustments with your chin. And then let's come down and change sides. So hand across, pressing down, other hand adds more pressure. And then looking up and diagonal to the back. Again, trying to feel the stretch here through those deep neck muscles. Breathing. Slight movement through the head to increase or decrease the stretch. And then coming back to the center and releasing. So let's just do some looking side to side and some nods. So full range of motion. And then just a few little circles around in the other direction. Okay, so from there we are going to stretch the muscles here at the back of our skull. So I'm going to take the hands behind my head, so you can interlace the fingers if you like. And then from there I'm going to tuck my chin in, and I'm going to try and lengthen through the back of the neck and press my chin into my chest. So you should feel the stretch through the back of the neck. Really tuck in that chin and make a big double chin. Press down as much as you feel you can. And then bringing the head up. And then try not to curve your neck, but this time just drop your chin in. And use your hands to kind of press the head forward. And breathe. And then release. Okay, let's stretch through the muscles of the upper back. So you're going to clasp the hands, and then from there, you're going to round the back and punch the arms forward, trying to separate those shoulder blades away from each other. Breathing. And release. And then you can either stay with that position, or if you want to make it more challenging, we can go into eagle arms, which is, and you'll take one arm out, and then you'll put your other arm in your elbow pit, and then you'll bring your hands up in front. So if that's as far as you can get to, then just hold the elbows together and pull round your back and pull the shoulder blades apart. If you can, then you'll take the hands, interlace the hands and lift up with the elbows. So from there, tummy nice and tight, I'm lifting my elbows up in line with my shoulders, and I'm trying to separate my shoulder blades. And you're breathing, and try to send your breath to the upper back. So if you're doing eagle arms, then let's see what it would be like to put the other arm on top of the other arm. So you're switching over. You might find that it's easier to intertwine the arms one way than it is the other. So good to practice both. Lifting those elbows up separating the shoulder blades and breathing. So you should feel a nice stretch across the upper back and the back of the shoulders. And then we'll release those down and give them a little roll. Okay, so from there we're going to do a seated bow and arrow. So to keep the hips nice and still, it's useful to have something in between your knees. So I'm going to just use a block here, and I'm going to squeeze the block throughout the movement. Then I'm going to take my arms out in front. I'm going to draw one arm up the other arm, and then I'm going to reach back, squeeze the knees together, and reach back as far as I can, and then coming back along the arm. So hand traces the arm, reaching back. So try and reach back through, twisting through your waist rather than jamming that shoulder back. So sliding that hand down the arm, twist. So you'll find that squeezing the block is going to resist some of the, restrict some of the rotation, especially in the lower back, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for rotation in through the mid-back. Helps to breathe, so you would breathe out as you twist back. Try and squeeze all the air out of you and breathe in as you come back. So you'd want to do about 10 of those on each side. So that would be your bow and arrow. From there, we're going to go into a seated spinal twist. We're going to keep the block in between our knees. And I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to twist, grabbing the back of the box, or maybe you grab the back of your chair. And you're going to try to hold here. And with your exhalations, try and twist through your torso to look a little bit further round. Check that you are bringing your head around as well. So it's like you're reversing in the car. You want to see who's behind you. Breathing. So 4 more breaths here. Really trying with each exhalation to twist a little bit further round. Keeping the shoulders down and relaxed. And again, squeezing the knees so the legs don't fall with you. And then we'll do the other side. So from there, reaching behind, you can hold your legs together, or you can hold the side of the chair, the back of the chair. And you're trying to sit as tall as you can without leaning back, shoulders down, and you are twisting as you breathe. So you'll breathe in, and as you breathe out, you'll see if you can twist around a little bit more. So you're going to need that breath into the chest, into that upper back, really squeezing out the air as you twist, squeezing those knees together. And then we'll come all the way back around. Okay, so from there we are going to move into our breathing for today, and we're going to do it seated. So you'll be sitting comfortably in your chair. If you want to scooch back and have the back support you, then that's absolutely fine. Or you're sitting nice and tall, feeling your sit bones underneath you, feeling that your spine is stacked on top of each other, so you're not leaning forward and clinging in the hip flexors, or leaning back and holding the tension in your back. So you kind of want to just rock until you find that center place where you feel nice and balanced. Our palms are faced up to open the shoulders up and press the shoulders down. And you can close your eyes if you would like. So I want you to close the eyes if you feel like you're comfortable to do so, so you can kind of come more into your body. And I want you to think about going into your box breathing. So let's try and do 6 counts today. So you would breathe in for a count of 6. When you get into your full inhalation at 6, then you hold your breath for 6 counts. When you've held your breath for 6, you would exhale slowly for 6. And when you've finished exhaling, you would hold for 6. So today, let's think about breathing, sealing your lips and breathing purely in through the nose, keeping everything sealed as you hold at the top, and then breathing out through the mouth or sighing out through the mouth on the exhalation. So I want you, while you're sat here, to scan your body and see if you are holding tension anywhere. I feel my hip flexors gripping, so I'm just gonna shake my legs out a little bit and see if I can just get them to relax. Maybe I need to shift my weight back a little bit, turn my abs on, try and turn my hip flexors off. Think about your 360 breaths and notice where you're breathing into predominantly. Is it even between your front side of your body, your sides, and your back? So just notice and then make any adjustments. Feel the ground under your feet, lengthening from your feet to the crown of your head. So last couple of breaths here. And we'll end the session there for today. Well, thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.